What's going on, y'all? Working in the shop today doing some maintenance work. I need to do a hydro service on my old Z2 here, but before we do that I want to replace these expansion tanks right here, the overflow reservoirs, the hoses. This one here, can't really tell right now because it's clean, but a lot of oil buildup happens over time. And I think it's because the tanks and the hoses have cracks in it because it's so old. So we're going to go ahead and replace those. And I do know for sure the old ones are cracked where the bolts go through. So at least, you know, I'll have peace of mind replacing them for those. Hopefully that takes care of all the leaks. So y'all stay tuned. Alright y'all, so I got it all jacked up. I took the 4 nuts off the back here, the 1/2 inch nuts, and I took this little plate off. Got it jacked up on jack stands back here, and also have it jacked in the front with jack stands underneath it just in case. Reason I did that is I wanted the reservoirs to be even. So if you look on the, I don't know if you can see that, but on the level, I got it leveled with the reservoirs. Probably not necessary, but I wanted to do it just to be more accurate. Right here, that's all dirty. I think that's from all the residue leaking from these expansion tanks down here. All right, the next thing I'm gonna do is pull this bar out going underneath here. The reason I need to pull it out is to get my wrench on those oil filters. Now, if you want to fight it, you can leave that in place, but I found taking that out makes it a whole lot easier. It has this little spring right here. It's attached to the brake lever. So when you pull the brake, it kind of helps it spring back and keep in place. So you just want to keep in mind to hook that back up whenever you put the bar back up. So you got 4 bolts all together, 9/16. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. This one kind of gave me some trouble. So this wrench, this is the direction you want to go to get it out, because the other way, it just doesn't allow it to do what it needs to do. But once you break it loose, it can come out. That oil looks pretty dirty. Pretty dirty. So you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Doing this side, this one was pretty tough as well. Normally the hydro oil doesn't look this bad, and I think I may have forgotten to change it last year, but you want to change these at least every year, no matter how many hours you put on it, and definitely every 400 hours. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is pull these little reservoir tanks, 7/16. I'm going to go ahead and knock them out. So I'm going to put these caps back on now that they're loose. I took them out so the oil would drain out faster. That way, but you can see this one doesn't look like it's leaking at all. It's pretty much this one right here. The hose is fully caked with debris and everything. I don't know if there's a clamp holding it. Yeah, there's a little clamp. So before I pull these off, I'm going to see which hose goes to where. And I traced it back. This reservoir in the back goes to this wheel motor, the driver's side or your right side when you're standing on the mower. And this is the other one. Alright, so I got the hose loose. It's kind of awkward to get there. This is where it was, and the wheel motor's right there. This is this wheel motor. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull it out. Right there. Alright, as you can see, one hose is longer than the other. So just keep in mind which one that goes to. The shorter one is obviously going to have the shorter distance. The reservoir's on this side, so it's going to go to this wheel motor. The longer one is going to go over there. Has a little bit more to travel. Looks like it's about 8 inches longer, roughly. Hose is hooked to the tanks. Got my clamps tight. One's longer than the other. I'm going to put some tape on the ends of these because I don't know if you notice, it's very filthy. And I don't want to get any of that debris in those hoses. So I'm going to go ahead and tape that up and I'll run it through. Alright, we're just going to screw these on. So when I'm putting these on, I'm not going to use a wrench to tighten it. I'm just going to put it as tight as I can with one hand. And what you want to do the next day, just check it, make sure you don't have any leaks or anything. Or the next few days, just going to keep an eye on it. But I don't like to over tighten these. We're going to put the caps back on. It's just the two 3/8 bolts. One there and one in the front. So I went ahead and put my bar back, and I put my 4 9/16 bolts and nuts. And I remembered to put my spring for the brake. So you want to put your 9/16 bolt, put your nut, put your spring on it, and then put your secondary nut. And got the caps back on. Next thing we're going to do is add oil into it. But before we do that, I'm probably going to go ahead and blow some more of this debris out while it's all taken apart and clean it up some more now that everything is sealed up right now. Right here, there's an 11/16 bolt. Kind of hard to see because it's very dark in there, but there's an 11/16 bolt that goes in. That's a vent hole. What you want to do is take that out. The best thing to use is a ratcheting box end wrench. You can do it without a ratcheting wrench, but it works a lot easier. Go ahead and loosen that up. Go ahead and find you a little tiny person with little tiny hands to get in there, because obviously my hand's not going to fit in there. I'm going to get my wife, Christina, to get in there and pull that out. Alright, so after you get it loose, you get somebody with small hands. It'll come right out. Now to put it back, it's a little tougher because you can't really see what's going on. You kind of got to feel yourself around. And you got to kind of be quick about it when you put the bolt back in, and I'll touch on that later. Alright, I'm about to put the oil in. I'm using 20W50, regular conventional oil. That's what the manual calls for. I've got Christina down here. She's going to be keeping her eye on the hole of the bolt that we just pulled out. And it's not going to be immediate. It's going to start to overflow into right there at the vent hole. And once that happens, you need to hurry up and put your bolt in and tighten it up and clean it really good. And I'm filling up the back reservoir because that's the right wheel motor. Alright, so the reservoir is full now, as you can see. So I'm just going to wait for it to go down slowly and work its way through the hose and into the wheel motor. And I'm going to keep doing that process until she says that it's coming out at the bottom. And once that happens, she's going to put the bolt in, tighten it up, and the full level you want to have it almost all the way at the bottom. You can see it's going down real slow. That's just how it is. You just gotta be patient with it.
Later. Moments later. More moments later. Few inches later. 2,000 years later.
So I'm almost halfway through the jug. It's a 5-quart jug.
Several bad puns later.
It's going down. In the wheel motor. Going down. Alright. So that took about 20-25 minutes to do the one. But it started coming out the bottom. She tightened the bolt down hand tight. Now she's tightening with the wrench. And I'm going to go ahead and take the funnel out, put it in this one, put a cap on that one. So I don't know if you can tell, it's all the way full. So I wasn't paying attention and I was filling this up too often and it started overflowing over there. So now I have way too much in here. This one's done right, so I'm gonna leave it alone. But I got a little syringe to get the excess oil out of here. We put it back in the jug. Alright, that looks like they're about even on the full mark. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is put it in transport position for the hydros right here. Go ahead and start the lawnmower up. Take the brake off. Make sure your jack stands are, nothing's going to fall off. And work the controls at the top. And that's going to, if there's any air in the lines or anything trapped, it should get it to come out. Alright, so I worked the controls 5 or 6 times both ways, and now I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the transport position. I'm gonna go ahead and start it up, and you should see the transaxles moving. Alright, that should do it. I'm going to go ahead and put the wheels back on and get it back on the ground, try it out, and that's a wrap. Before attempting to do a hydro service on this, you want to do it with the mower cold. You don't want to run it like you would if you do an oil change on an engine. If I missed anything, just go ahead and drop it in the comments. If you have any questions, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Later. Also forgot to mention, I pretty much used the whole 5-quart jug here. There's only just a little bit left.